Well, the first thing I'd like to say is thank you um, to Jody and Richard and um, all the folks that are leading us in this effort for the multiple district. I think I get the feeling that a lot of the district governors out there are getting motivation from what you all are presenting and getting an idea of how they can make this all happen. So we really appreciate what you're doing, and we thank you for putting this together and continuing to do this. And also that, let's see, January 8th, 22nd, and February the 5th, we'll have another opportunity for those that could not be with us during this session to get an idea of what we went through during ours here in September and October. So thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. And I just wanted to say that I just want you to remember that this is a process. So we've been given lots of information from the workshop 1 and 2 and 3. And a lot of communication that I've had just from my Eastern region is, there are some nuances in the district and some things that can frustrate district governors and growth teams, and that's okay. We just need to make progress, keep working. And as long as we're moving in that direction, then we're going to be a positive at some point. So if you can't get your club started by December 31st, it's okay. Just keep the process going. We want to make sure that we are moving forward. Don't get frustrated. This is a process, and we're all here to help. And we're very grateful to be given this information so that we can get Pennsylvania's numbers back up there. Do more service. Thanks.
Awesome. Mike, did you want to say something?
I think both of them summed it up really well.
I'm a speaker.
The momentum is moving forward. I've seen a lot of growth with our zone chairs and a few other really getting behind it. And like they said, those who weren't quite prepared or ready have been gaining momentum for the January and preparing a team for the January to come back again and be even stronger. So I appreciate everybody that's taking the time and effort to join us for the process.
Well, thank you to the three of you for all the work you've done. I'm going to mute everyone right now, and then you will not be able to unmute the rest of the call. So just fair warning. So all conversation, any questions, please drop them in the chat, just like we have been through all of the sessions. This workshop would not have been nearly as successful without Jeff, Linda, and Mike doing all the work they've been doing with all of you. So thank all of you for all the work you've been doing as well. And we have Richard and Tracy with us tonight, our normal amazing helpers. Plus we have Constitutional Area 1 Global Action Team leader, Pat Vanette, with us as well this evening. So we're all here as always to support all of you in everything that you're doing. And as we've done the last two sessions, let's start out by hearing how things are going with your club startup efforts. And so, Karen Brady, if you're here, who I think, yes, she is. Karen, I'm going to bring you up on screen. And there she is. Karen, how is it going? And can you tell us how the new club development is going in your area?
You would really have to talk to the district governor about that. I honestly don't know. I know my club is actively trying to start a club branch. We've been struggling for about 2 years trying to do so, but that is our goal, to start a club branch this year.
Awesome.
So,
what kind of branch? Anything, a regular club branch or a specialty club?
a specialty club.
Awesome.
Yes, we've lost in the area directly around us in the last 4 years, we've lost 3 clubs. They've just aged out. And so we're looking into maybe a Hispanic club. Somebody in my club has tried to start that, and I think we're going to, now that we have another Hispanic in the club who's at a level that can help, I think that's where we're going. But as far as the district, I think District Governor Scott Lohman would have a better idea than I would.
Awesome. Well, he told us you had all the lowdown on what was going on with a specialty club. And so you do. That's fantastic work from your club, and looking to areas that are underserved is perfect. and even reaching out to some of those past members from maybe they still want to join another club. So cool. Great work to you and the team from your club.
Thank you.
Awesome. Scott, did you want to add anything else to that report?
Oh, no, not really. Whatever Karen said, I was at her meeting, last week, I believe it was. And pretty much everything she said is what we were, covering there with the Hispanic club going into the Bethlehem area, which we haven't had a club in there in over 20 years. Um, so that's the south side of Bethlehem, which is a predominantly Hispanic, area at this point. So that's where we're looking at. And Karen pretty much said everything else about that. Thank you, Karen.
Awesome. Great work, Scott, to you and the entire growth team. And as you had mentioned before the call, your second VDG who can't be here tonight, it's awesome to see that your second vice district governor is stepping up and helping to drive the process in your district. Keep growth front and center for everyone. So great job in delegation and bringing, the rest of the team on board. So thank you, Scott. Mike, I'm going to have you come on board, Mike Schaefer. If you want to come up and if you turn on your camera, I could actually bring you on screen and we could see how amazing you look tonight.
Oh,
Or not.
You don't want to do that.
Here he comes. Hey, Mike, talk about what's going on with starting clubs over in your neck of the woods.
Sure. Right now, the Warwick area, the Warwick area branch club is sitting at 18. We have 2 to 3 more commits, so we fully intend to have that chartered by in November. And then the Disaster Relief Specialty Club is currently at 9, but I have 6 more commits that I have applications out to. So we'll be sitting at 15, hopefully within the month of November, and intentions of chartering that before the end of December.
Fantastic.
And then I'll let District Governor Deb touch on any other updates that we had going as well. One of our zone chairs had brought.
Yeah, sure. Zone Chair Greg Walborn brought up the idea of starting a branch club in the Northern Lebanon School District to help those students that need food and clothing. And in looking at the website, there's also a homelessness liaison for that district. When he contacted me, he had 3 potential members, and last week he had it up to 8. So I think we'll be doing an informational meeting about that and kind of get an idea of what these 8 people exactly, how they want to market the club and get it going. And I also want to get a branch club started, a Champion Lions Club, because I've always heard about Lions International partnering with Special Olympics, but I haven't seen that since I've been a Lion. So we're going to be working on that. I've made some contacts here with the Special Olympics Pennsylvania, right here in Lancaster and Lebanon area. So I look to have some more contact with them next month and get that branch club going.
Fabulous work to you and your team. It sounds like the whole district is just rocking it over there. So great work. I will tell you the Champion Lions Club, I was got to be part of one that started up from the start to when they actually unfortunately folded during COVID. But it is one of the most rewarding, amazing clubs you can actually create. It's a service project and a Lions Club all wrapped into one. And it's fantastic. So great work to you and to your team. So awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, I'm going to ask Jeff. Hey, Jeff, do you have anyone else from your area that you would like to have us report out? I didn't see Robert or Elliot on the call.
Yeah, I think Robert is. Bob, you want to talk about what you guys are doing down there with the
Oh, there he is.
hearing challenged club that you're talking about?
Robert, if you start your video and you unmute, I can bring you up on screen and you can tell us about the club you're working on.
I haven't really gone much further than the last meeting. Uh, We have about 11 interested people in the Duncan Party Hearing Club down in the Uniontown area, which is would be a branch club of the Uniontown Club.
Awesome. So working on a branch club is what I think I heard you say.
Yes.
Cool. There was, as I recall, last time we met, there was a whole bunch of stuff going on in your area. Anything else fun and exciting going on?
We're hopeful, before the end of the year to have a new club go from branch club to a new charter. So that would be the Shade Club.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's fantastic. We
Thanks.
love to hear that. I mean, it's the state branch as long as they want, but when they're ready to rock and roll, that's fantastic. If you haven't done that before, and you're going to hear me say this a lot tonight, where to find things, but it's on lionsclubs.org on the Start a New Club page. All the materials are there to transition a club from a branch to a full-blown Lions Club. So you can find that on the Lions Clubs International website under the Start a New Club page. So awesome. Congratulations. Cool. Jeff, did you have anyone else that you think that or anything you'd like to just recap that you know of that's going on, or should we just go on?
I can talk a little bit about N. And we've got one club that is currently a branch club. It has 10 members working on the other 10. We're also talking about starting a club in Midland, which is a community that had some issues with a steel mill closing. That mill has opened up again, so now we're in the process of talking with the town council. One of the counselors is a personal friend of mine, so we're talking with those folks. We have a sponsor club identified,
Nice.
which is the Rochester Beaver Club. They're willing to go and take care of that. We're also going to be assigning a certified guiding lion when we start that process to kind of move it along. And then there's another club in Lawrence County that we're trying to start. It's the Shenango Club. That was also a club that had closed several years ago. So that community is underserved right now. So our district governor and some of the folks from Lawrence County are working on trying to get that one started. So there's several different clubs that we're working on, and hopefully we'll have at least one or two of those finished before the end of this year.
Congratulations to you and the rest of the team there, Jeff. That's fantastic. We've talked about this before, and we'll keep talking about this as long as we have the opportunity, is to keep working on more than one club is really so important, because sometimes one club will get stuck and then your people get stuck and you lose momentum. So finding ways to be working on multiple clubs at a time to be able to help expand your reach and get more clubs moving and growing Lionism even faster is even better. So great work, and great work to all of you. Unfortunately, we don't have time for everyone to report out. And I know you've been sharing your data and sharing information with your 3 champions. So keep up the great work with that, and we'll go from there. So part of the reason we did that first is so on the recording we're going to put online, we are not going to share that information with the rest of the world. Instead, we'll start the recording when I go to start with this, which is talking about what we're going to do tonight. So we just did your district report out. Heard some great ideas of things that are going on from your fellow members in Pennsylvania, which is awesome. So keep up the great work, keep it moving, keep it going. Our main focus tonight is to really talk about formation meetings. What do they look like? Why, who to invite, how they work. Then we're going to talk about the club application process itself and approval. We're going to talk about launching the club, the supporting, protecting, and connecting that club as it moves into on its own. And then last but certainly not least, we're going to share some inspirational stories that really tie everything we've talked about during these 3 sessions together. So let's get started, because as always, it's a very, very busy agenda. start with asset-based community development. I am sharing with you one of the slides we had last time because this is a new concept for a lot of us. So a reminder of what asset-based community development is and how that works in starting a Lions Club. So it focuses on skills, talents, and passions in the community. Everyone's got a gift, something to contribute, and a passion of some sort. In this model, wherever there's an asset, there's a future lion. That future lion has that passion. So it's your job as starting a club to determine what their passion is and then help that passion become part of the service of that Lions Club that you're forming. And the last piece of that, just as a quick recap of what an asset-based community development club looks like, is the community needs to evolve, so must our service. In the asset-based community development model, it's very easy for your service to evolve because it's based on the humans that are coming into your club. Everyone brings something new. Everyone adds something to the game and you are able to move on and your service evolves naturally. So that's the overview of what an asset-based community club looks like. But what does it take to actually get it started? That's what we're going to go over, and that's going to be new for you this evening. So let's get on to that. So we've got 7 steps here on the slide for you that talk about how you start an asset-based club. And like we talked about last time, you start out by identifying key community assets. Who are those assets in the community that could be included in a new club that would like to make a difference? So some of them people you're going to look at from human standpoint is local leaders and influencers. You're talking about people that are well respected in the community, your business owners, educators, faith leaders, nonprofit directors, whomever that might be. You're also then going to look to existing organizations. They are also key community assets. Groups like other nonprofits, local businesses, schools, and service groups that are already out there addressing community needs are some of the existing organizations you should be tapping as key community assets. You're also going to want to take a look at public and civic institutions like libraries, community centers, or local government officials that are going to be able to help promote community engagement and also hopefully come to the table with their skills to help grow this new Lions Club and make it a valuable member of the community. Then the last group that you're going to look at as you're identifying these key community assets are people with specialized skills. So people that are in healthcare or education or fundraising or marketing, people that might bring to the table tools and assets that this Lions Club could work off of and work through. I will remind you that the 2 apps that we've talked about in the past, those ChatGPT apps, the Lions Map to Grow, has a whole segment on, you click on it and give it your community name or the community you're looking to start a club in or rejuvenate a club, and ask it to identify these key community assets for you. So that the asset mapping is already there in the app, or you can do it just by doing a Google search on your own. Step 2 is you're going to connect with those potential members. And this is slightly different than what we've done in the past and how we've looked at it for a traditional club. You're really going to be looking at one-on-one personal meetings where you have coffee or whatever it is, wherever you can meet up to introduce the concept of a new Lions Club. During that meeting, you're really focused again on their passions. You're going to ask some questions like, what are you passionate about in this community? What do you think the community needs most? And how do you see yourself contributing to it? These one-on-one meetings are when you really start building the relationship and answering their questions and helping them recognize that they have this passion, they have skills, and they can bring those to the table to help realize whatever they're passionate about and reach their goals. This is also where you're going to want to look at leveraging existing relationships. We talked about this in session 2, where you are reaching out to all the Lions you know, anyone that you can get information from that says, hey, I know so-and-so in the community, and I think they'd be a great Lion. You're going to also then, again, reminder, ask them to use their name in the introduction or actually see if they will act as introduce you to these potential assets from this community. This adds credibility to you right off the bat and strengthens your outreach and ability to reach out to a larger group of people. And then instead of asking them to come to join the club right away, you're going to invite them to be part of a service project or a community event sponsored by the Lions. What does that mean? Well, we're going to talk about that next. We're going to start with, framing an invitation around shared community values and strengths. And what you're looking to do is bring people in and perhaps have a forum with them. So when you bring them into the forum to talk about what their goals are, how they'd like to be involved, and what they'd like to do, you then bring everyone into the same room together and they have a conversation. And this is where you also talk about how Lions, again, can help them meet those goals. So if it's a business leader you're recruiting, emphasize how being part of the Lions Club can help them network with other leaders while contributing to their corporate social responsibility. If they're from a nonprofit, you're going to explain how Lions could partner with the organization, share resources to address these mutual goals that we all have in bettering our communities. If they're an educator or community worker, you're going to point out the opportunities to mentor youth, lead educational initiatives, and any of the other pieces that a Lions Club could help them realize and implement to make things work for them. This is what you're going to invite them to this forum. A forum is really an opportunity to bring all of these leaders, these community leaders and organizations together to discuss the local needs and opportunities and how our organizations can work together to meet them and take advantage of the assets in place. You're going to have a collaborative dialogue with asking the participants to brainstorm how the community can leverage its strengths to address shared challenges. You're going to talk about service and action and how Lions' mission of service and community buildings will help them realize these goals. And you can use specific examples of how this new Lions Club can be a vehicle for tackling these local challenges. And you're also going to talk about the great leadership opportunities and that avail themselves just by being part of a Lions Club, whether it's joining and becoming a club president, taking an officer role, whatever it might be, or if it's taking on a club project, whatever it might be. These leadership opportunities give these people and these leaders an opportunity to make a lasting difference in their community while connecting with these like-minded people, all who have their own goals but are coming together to bring their assets to reach the overall goal for the community. And again, the next step is to engage key members with leadership opportunities. You've got project leads, you've got officers of the club, membership or partnership chairs, something that they can continue to build out how the club is reaching out to the community and growing in their community. You could also have a treasurer if you've got someone with financial background, all of those pieces you normally look for in a club and the assets that people bring to and skills they bring to the table. Then you're going to work on creating this shared vision for the community. And this happens almost naturally at the forum. One or two topics are going to come very obviously during this conversation to the forefront. So you're going to use this forum to allow you and them to recognize that the community has incredible assets, people who care deeply, and organizations in their community who are already out there. And by bringing these forces all together through the Lions Club, we can multiply our impact of each and every one of us. You're going to let them help figure out what are the specific needs that they'd like to address right off the bat. And then you're going to give them a vision for growth, imagining how together we can grow this network of community leaders who not only serve, but create these lasting partnerships that have a positive impact in the community. And the last step of starting an asset-based club is this, and it's about follow-up and sustaining the relationship. So after this initial invitation and this forum goes on, not every organization is going to join you right away. And that's okay. Just like every time you ask someone to join the Lions Club, they're not necessarily going to join either. But it's important that after they've been involved in the initial invitation, to follow up with these potential members and organizations and stay connected with them. And here's why. At some point, when they see what you're doing, they're going to want to join you. We've seen this in other asset-based clubs that have been started, and it's how, as you keep reaching out and offering to volunteer and help them and keep these contacts in place, you're keeping them informed about the club's progress, upcoming projects, success stories, and inviting them to come help with the next one. And it allows them to maybe just attend and participate in something or contribute some feedback for you on something you've got coming up. And it's also important to keep that personal touch in place. It's not about a mass email to everyone. It's about reaching out to these humans that you spoke with on the front end and keeping that relationship going. Now, recognizing full well, especially step 7, is going to be handed off to the new club to take on and maintain these relationships. This is going to be a transition period between the growth team, who started the conversations with all of these organizations and these assets, and the new club, whoever's taking over their partnership role, or someone that's, whomever in the club is going to take on that assignment to maintain the relationship with those potential partners and assets that did not decide to join you at that time. You are going to offer them, again, you're going to, throughout this forum, and as you're talking about, it's always about how the Lions can help reach their goals, and we can all grow together to make a better place in our community. You're going to offer them, give them membership applications, all the traditional things you would do. You're just doing it starting out one-on-one with a conversation, and then moving it to a forum instead of what we're going to talk about next, which, if you've started clubs before on the needs-based approach, is the informational organizational meetings. So any questions on the starting of an asset-based club that we should address before we move on to our more traditional type of club with a needs-based club? Richard, anything? Tracy? Nope. Okay. All right. Let's switch gears. So we talked a little bit about that's how you get an asset-based community development club up and running. When we look to our more traditional startup, which is the needs-based model that we've been working with for so long, there's a number of key steps and key meetings that you're going to want to put in place. So we're going to go through all of these. These will not be surprises to any of you who've started a club in the past, and we'll show you an example of a really well done info meeting at the end of the session here today. So let's talk about the first meeting in the lineup, and that's what we call a key stakeholder meeting. So this is where you invite a small group of people, these key potential members, to join you for a conversation about the fact that, again, we're working on starting a new Lions Club to meet the growing needs in the community and in the area. You're inviting them to this meeting to discuss the needs in the community that they see and how a Lions Club can help them meet those needs. When you get to the meeting itself, you're going to do introductions, and they're really there to let them talk. As they walk in, you're handing them a hello brochure. So as they're talking with each other, they're flipping through and getting an idea of what we do. You're going to let them each talk about the needs they see in the community. Then you're going to use the marketing materials, including that hello brochure or whatever brochure and videos you've got, to help show what Lions do. Lions Clubs International has a lot of great 3 to 4 minute videos out on their YouTube channel that are perfect for this, kind of an overview of what Lions are about. What do they do? Some successful clubs. And if you know what the need that they're focusing on, let's say they're talking about the environment, they got a water cleanup issue with their local stream or their local waterway. So if you can go out and find a video on an environmental club and what they've done to show them what it is Lions do. You then continue the conversation with them about how it is Lions can help them meet that need and why a Lions Club is all the benefits of being a Lions Club. You get these key stakeholders buy-in and commitment to either join or help start the club. Hopefully they're going to say, oh yeah, we'll be there and we're on board, and they're going to sign the membership application right then and there. These key stakeholders are the ones that are going to get the real juice flowing in this community. You're going to be there alongside of them to help them, but they're the ones that are really going to be able to help reach into areas that it's harder for someone from outside the community to get to, because these should be well-known and well-respected members of the community you're working with. So they are now all in, whether they're going to be members or they're going to help get this club started. At that point, you're going to talk to them about setting up an information meeting date and location, tentative meeting date and location. And we're going to go through the info meeting here in a moment. Giving them the responsibility with your support to set this up, again, starts this transition over to that this is their club. We're just there to support them. And give them the details they need to help and support they need to be able to move forward. So the key stakeholder meeting is done now. And it's time to go to what this information meeting is. So the information meeting is when you invite everyone you can possibly think of to come to this meeting and learn more about becoming a Lions member and what a Lions Club could do. In preparation for this, you're going to need to do a number of things. Number one, you're going to need to set up the room. Ideally, you set up the room in a way that's going to allow for more conversation, either in a rectangle or something, or to put the tables around so people can see each other and have a conversation. But you can't always control that. So you work with the space that you've got. How do you dress? Well, on here it says dress professionally or Lions casual. And the reason it says that is dress to the level that's appropriate for the club you're starting. If you're looking to start a club in a rural area and every human that shows up is going to be in blue jeans and tennis shoes and a t-shirt, showing up in a business suit is probably not your best choice. Showing up in a Lions polo shirt and slacks in business casual, Lions casual mode is probably less off-putting to them and will make them feel more comfortable. Do not wear a vest. Do not use titles. Do not do any of the internal things that are traditions for a Lions club, for our own, some of our Lions clubs, but maybe off-putting to people who don't understand why we wear different color jackets, why we wear vests, all of those different things. You're going to want to provide name tags to the attendees and have a welcoming committee. So someone's going to be registering people and having them sign in and giving them a name badge and maybe a hello brochure or some sort of flyer of some sort. But the welcoming committee is there to make sure there's interaction going on during the networking time before the official meeting starts. Connect them with one another if they don't know one another already. Talk to them, answer their questions one-on-one about what Lions is about and work through it. So that welcoming committee is a key part of the preparation and getting them set up and as they're walking into the meeting. You're also going to want to assign one of your growth team members to take notes. Taking notes of these meetings so that they can be then shared out with the attendees and those that didn't make it to the meeting is very important. I did not yet tell you about how many Lions do you think we should take to these meetings? And I will tell you, not as many as you think. Probably 5 key Lions should be there. Whoever is in charge of this has been in charge of the growth team for this club should be there. The guiding lion or guiding lions should be there. So we're up to possibly 3 people now. There's 3 people, right? At least one person, and hopefully only 1 to 2 people max from the sponsoring entity, be that a club, the zone, the region, or the district. And then last but not least, if a member of the governor team would like to join, then invite them to as well to be there. You do not want to overwhelm with the number of Lions that are there versus the number of actual potential members that are there. This is the first time we're bringing all of these prospective members together to find out more about Lions in the new club. If we have 20 people there and only 7 of them show up, it doesn't look very good and it's very uncomfortable in that there's a lot of Lions standing around without a lot to do. So think about that as you're pulling your agenda together and figuring out where you'd like to go. And the objective of this meeting is to build the new club's membership and prepare for a successful organization. Now, you are likely to you will have invited a lot of people, and oftentimes 20 to 25% of those people who signed up or told you they were going to come are only 20 to 25% of them actually show up at the meeting. And that's okay. Don't be discouraged. People have a hard time saying no sometimes. Some of them don't really have an interest. Others of them, maybe the meeting time and date and location were just not working for them for that meeting. So don't be discouraged and don't lose sight of those. We'll get back to them in a few minutes here. So now we're at the meeting itself. What do we do when we're at the meeting? To conduct the meeting, we're going to start with welcome and introductions. You're going to welcome everyone, the Lions from the growth team. Someone will be the MC of the evening. They will welcome everyone. And every person that's there should introduce themselves. We're not using Lions titles. We're not calling ourselves Lions so-and-so. We're not calling ourselves district governor or past council chair or whatever our titles are. Because again, that's internal jargon that they don't know anything about. And if we start using our internal jargon, they're going to be like, well, I don't know what this means. It's not for me. So just say, hey, I'm Lion Jody. I'm here I'm excited to be here with you and answer your questions about Lions. Pass it on to the next person. Allow every attendee to introduce themselves and ask them a key question to share, like, what was it that brought you to this? What are you interested in? What project or whatever you decide, but something that's going to give them a key connection to come back to the rest of the group with. You are then going to give a brief overview of what Lions is and what it's about. You're going to use the 8 service projects that we have as a whole and explain that this is the framework that Lions Clubs International provides us, but every club is different. Every club is set up to meet their members' needs and their community's needs. So they will adapt. It's up to them to adapt and pick the service projects that best meet their needs. You're going to talk about costs and benefits. This is where you're going to have the dues conversation. This is where we're going to talk about the fees and all of those things. You're going to have then open up the floor for a discussion about project ideas from them, a brainstorming session where they can list out as many projects as they possibly can that they think would be important in their community. Now, you may get specific project ideas, or it may be working with the food bank. It could be any number of things, but make sure that you're writing this down, either on a giant sticky note, you know, the giant note memo pad sticky notes that everyone can see, or if you're technologically able to, put a Word file up on a screen and be typing it into the Word file and go from there. But make sure you capture those ideas in a way that all of them can see it while they're brainstorming. And then you will have the ability to follow up and send back out to all of the attendees and non-attendees after the meeting. Next up, you're going to set up and talk about the next meeting. When do they want to meet next? You're going to want to look at 7 to 14 days max between these, because you don't want to lose momentum on what they're doing. You're going to hand out the membership applications and collect charter fees. In most cases, when I've seen this done and when I've been involved in this, we hand out the membership applications as they're walking in the door. And at the end of the meeting, when we say, you know, if you're not ready to join right now and would like to leave, you don't need to take the application with you. If you'd like to take it with you, great. Otherwise, just leave it on the table and we'll get you another one the next time you're here, whatever you'd like. So you'll collect those applications, you'll collect the charter fees, and then before you let them go, you're going to tell them and ask them to invite their friends, families, coworkers, anyone else they know that might be interested in participating and making a difference in their community through a Lions Club. This is all coming from you as the growth team. This entire session is run by you as the growth team, and the input from them comes under project ideas when we do the brainstorming, and then when they're working on the next meeting information, when it could be. The follow-up for this, the next morning, if at all possible, you're going to send out a thank you email to all the attendees and include all of those ideas that they brainstormed about potential projects that they might like. I recommend that you sort those by project area. So maybe some of it's environmental, maybe it's kids, maybe it's hunger, maybe whatever it is, that you sort that. And you can use our friend ChatGPT for that, by the way. You can drop everything in there. You can drop all the ideas that they shared with you into ChatGPT and say, put these into categories and sort them. And it will do it for you in less than 10 seconds. So it's a quick and easy way then to put it in a Word file, or however you want to share it out with the attendees and get it out from there. You're also, so that's going out, that's a thank you to all the attendees email, but you're also going to turn around and send up a follow-up email to all the prospective members that you gave your email addresses and may or may not have made it to the meeting. You're going to recap, or did not make it to the meeting. You're going to recap what was discussed at the first meeting and share with them these project ideas and invite them to attend this upcoming meeting, the next meeting of the club. You as a growth team are going to work to promote the club and promote the next meeting, so that you're going to have a flyer, you're going to do some social media posts, you're going to share it out with all of the people that attended the meeting and did not attend, and say, hey, if you know anyone, or can you help share this on social media? And then you'll decide how you would like to send out meeting reminders. It's always a great idea to, maybe, depending on how long in between the meetings are, a couple days in advance of the meeting, send a note saying, just as a reminder, we're meeting on XYZ date at this location, and we can't wait to see you, where we're going to talk about the ideas you shared with us and further information about how to form this new Lions Club. So that's the first time, that's the informational meeting, that you get all of the people together that you possibly can, and you really inform them what Lions is about. Once you get through this meeting, and I'll take questions after we go through the rest of the setup of the traditional needs-based club setup. You go to what's called an organizational meeting, and this is where you really start to focus on making sure that you're letting the club make this their own entity, their own club. The preparation is very much the same as it was before. You've got the same people, hopefully the same lions that were at that first meeting are the same lions from your growth team that are at this next meeting, because you start to recognize people, they start to recognize you, and the comfort level grows and the trust level grows. When it comes to the meeting agenda itself, you're going to go back through and do welcome and introductions. Hopefully there's a number of new people there, new humans that have come to join and learn more about this. So you're going to let everyone introduce themselves, again, saying what they feel is important or whatever question you'd like to help them use to connect. And once you get through the welcome and introductions, you're going to give a very brief overview of what Lions is about again. Because again, there's a whole bunch of new people there, right? Or you hope there's a whole bunch of new people there. So you give a brief introduction about what Lions is, again, our 8 causes, and that they set it up how they would like their own club. You then start having a conversation about the club name. And we're going to talk about club naming conventions here in a few minutes, but the club name is an important piece of this. You're then going to review the project ideas, add any new ones that they've got, either from the people of the first meeting, anyone in the room that has new ideas they'd like to add, and then help them narrow that down to the 3 things that they'd like to start with. What projects do they want to start with? Hopefully one of them is a quick hit, something they can get out and clean up a park, something they can do a quick vision screening with the support of the district, something that's going to allow them to get out there and be serving as soon as possible. Because we all know that service is what drives membership in our association and drives retention. So getting them serving as soon as possible is key, because then hopefully it's also a project that they can invite their friends and family to join them at, to be able to get high on service and get hooked on service and ready to go. Once they've narrowed down and you've gone through the project ideas, you're going to explain what the club chartering process looks like. And it's a high level explanation, and we're going to go through a lot of that here in a few minutes, but it's a high level explanation of what the club chartering process looks like. You're going to start recruiting officers, people that would like to volunteer to step up to serve in one of the officer roles. You'll need to give a brief overview of what those offices are: the president, the vice president, secretary, treasurer, etc. And then before you wrap up, you're going to determine the next meeting date, time, and location, just like you did the time before. You'll note now that you've got people that have started to step up to leadership. They're going to start handing over more of the duties, excuse me, more of the duties to this new club. This is their club. Again, we're there to support them. So this is where we start this. Our team, our growth team, someone from the team, probably one of the guiding lions, should set up officer training for these new officers. And that could be formal officer training. That could be as simple as getting them a mentor. They've already identified a mentor that's going to help show the secretary what it means to be a secretary, the president what it means to be a president, the treasurer, et cetera, et cetera. You are then going to allow them to encourage these new lions and all of the people that are there to continue promoting the club and building membership. And then you're going to have these new lions, these new officers, these new club members follow up with individuals who showed interest but didn't attend the meetings, organizations that they'd like to reach out with, etc. Again, you're starting to transition to the new club and allowing them to do things the way they need to. The guiding lions are really here at this point and are really becoming the key component and the key line of support for this club. So as you're looking at the agenda for this meeting, having them take a primary role in the presentation of the materials and the interaction with the club is a very good idea, as these are their long-term support that they'll be working with. Organizational meetings, it may take a number of meetings. It could take any number of meetings to finally get to the point where you're ready to either become a branch club or to launch a full-blown Lions Club. These meetings, the key member meeting, the info meeting, and the organizational meeting really set up the basis of a strong Lions Club. And if you put together strong meetings with the information that these Lions need, it will allow them to thrive going into the future. You may decide also to move some things around and not have, this is your club your way as well. So whatever you need to do to get the job done and get the information to the club, depending on their needs, is important. So listening to what their needs are is vital to deciding how much information you're going to share at each meeting and where you're going to move with things as well. LCI has done a really great job of creating a PowerPoints for both the information meeting and the organizational meetings. The QR code on the screen will take you there, or you can go to lionsclubs.org and search on the Start a New Club page and scroll down to where you will find PowerPoints that you can download for both the agenda that will include the agenda for these information and organizational meetings. These are customizable, okay? So you can update them however you need for your local area and for this club you're working with. Richard, team, Tracy, anyone, do we have any questions in the chat before we go on to the next piece?
We have many comments.
Okay.
First one is PID Pat mentioned that she doesn't have a checkbook anymore, as many of us young lions don't carry checkbooks anymore. So having a credit card reader might be a good idea. Let's see.
That goes back to also the conversation before you go, having that conversation in advance about how are you going to handle electronic payments. We talked about this in session 1, and I think it's a vital part of the conversation at the district level that you need to have, and also training your individual clubs on how they can take advantage of electronic payments, and then what happens with these new clubs as well. So, okay, thank you, Richard. Next.
So also you want to keep notes. If you just take your phone and use ChatGPT, you can verbally put stuff in and just keep talking. And then at the end of it, you just say, put this in a minutes format, and it'll do that, print it, and you're done. It's very, very easy. There was a comment from Lion Jeff Jordan about strategies to use when no prospective leaders step up. And I believe the comment was, this is an issue in well-established clubs and districts. So that's kind of a comment to make, I believe, is what his point was.
I think that's a very good point. And we have more challenges with that in our existing clubs, because we've got people that have been around the block and maybe aren't as motivated. You may not find leaders to step up to all the roles right away. It's a question of making sure that you eventually, in my experience, within the first couple of meetings, you usually have someone to step up into all the roles for the new club, the key roles for leadership. Those key leadership roles of president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and a vice president, maybe a membership chair as well, so that you can keep moving things forward. You just need to make sure you give them, first of all, give them the information. What does it mean to be in this role? What is the job duties? What are the expectations? So they understand what they're stepping into. If no one steps up, that becomes a similar challenge to what we have in other clubs. And it's probably a good idea to look at, if they don't have anyone that's willing to step up right away, even if they have close to 20 members, you may want to look at making them a branch club to alleviate some of the admin duties that are required of a full-blown Lions club until they can get things done and get someone to step in all those roles. So Pat, great point. They've managed this as when you're canvassing community leaders, invite them to consider being a leader right away. It's part of the conversation at hand. First, individuals should be targeting. It goes back to asset-based community development. Even if you're doing a needs-based model, you should still be asking people, when you're talking to them and getting fired up about being a lion, about this Lions Club, talking to them about what they think is important and what they tools and resources they bring to the table. So great points. Richard, was there other things?
Daniel video, last meeting, we had the Daniel video where he recruited the photographer.
Right.
And think back to how he did that. He's just asking questions, what they're interested in, what they like to do. And that's going to give you an idea of who might make a leader in a certain spot you have a spot in.
Well, and if you're talking to someone, as you're talking to someone, you can say, you seem like to be a great president of this club, or you seem like you'd be a great officer in this new club. What's your interest level? You do need to be careful because you don't want to scare them away, because they may or may not have that ability at that point to be a leader, but it is an important part of the conversation. So, yep, give all the new members a copy of Standard Form Club Constitution bylaws, which has specific officer duties in there and all of that. So great points. Richard, additional things, or should we go on to some of the naming and other things?
PDG Jeff mentioned giving people a standard form club constitution and bylaws, which has the duties of officers, and that's it.
I don't think I would give the full-blown constitution unless someone asks for it initially. I think that's a discussion as the club is forming. I think you should pull the duties out of the standard constitution bylaws and provide that information. And that, again, should be part of the informational meeting on what you're giving, the data you're giving them. Cool.
And the host club that's going to be, you know, the club that's working to charter this, you know, you can always ask your secretary to, you know, talk to them and tell them what they do and, you know, get some of
Right.
that information out there. And sometimes when they do that, it doesn't seem as overwhelming as looking at a piece of paper with like 60 bullet points.
Yeah, I agree, Tracy, because you want to give them realistic information, but you do not want to overwhelm them with what the job is. Great point. All right, let's go on to the next items on the list here. And let's talk about what happens when you go to name the club. There's a number of things and rules that you need to follow when you're naming a club. There needs to, and we have it called a municipality name because that's what it's most commonly used. So it must be named by the actual name of the municipalities, town, city, village, whatever governmental unit it is that you're in. Now, it doesn't have to be as small as a town. It could be the state. It could be, you know, there's other ways to parse it. It could be the Eastern Lake Wisconsin Lions Club or whatever it is, some designation that allows people to know where you're coming from and where the club is located. And then if there's more than one club in the area in that same community with that same name, you have to add a clear identifier for each of those clubs so people know who you're talking about. I'll use my own city I'm from. We've got the Madison Central Lions, Madison East Lions, Madison West Lions, Madison Monona Lioness Lions, etc. Everyone knows who which one is because we've got that identifier. We can't all be the Madison Lions Club. So if you have more than one club in that same municipality or with that same geographic name, you need to put a distinguishing designation on it. And then 2 naming restrictions that to keep in mind is it cannot be named after a living person. I can't go in and start the Jody Burmester Lions Club all over the place and Jody Burmester Lions Club Evening Club and all that. That's just not how it works. So no living person. And you cannot use the term or the word international in the name of the club at all either. So we did get a question, one of these sessions about what happens if you have an existing joined together or existing charitable organization that's coming over to become a Lions Club with international in its name. They cannot have the word international in their official name. So looking for a way to work around that, the IRS and Lions Clubs International, no international in their name. They can do business as a different name, but I would stay away from, again, no living person and no using the word international as much as possible. So you'll need to work it out with the individual organization, and maybe there's any number of ways to work around that. If you get to that point where you're having a challenge, I strongly recommend you send an email to membership at lionsclubs.org. That's Tracy, who's been with us all along, and she'll let you know if a name is going to meet the standards or not, so that you can be able to make sure that you're on track with that before you go into any of the official paperwork that needs to come from here. So naming the club is important, and you will steer them as whoever's leading that part of the discussion and in the organizational meeting will explain what the rules are so that they can come up with their own name. It's, again, not up to us to walk in and say, you will be the so-and-so Lions Club. It's about telling them what the rules are and letting them come to an agreement on what the name will be. Let's go on and talk a little bit about the charter application process. Let's start with just an overview. So you're going to submit this through the portal, the Lion portal, and you'll find that at lionsclubs.org. Most of you have already been there, I'm sure. Who can submit the charter application? That is the district governor, the district membership team coordinator, the district extension team coordinator, the coordinating lion, whomever that person is that's been leading the charge on this club, and or the sponsoring club president or secretary if this club is being sponsored by another Lions Club. If you are starting a specialty club, whether it is a full-blown Lions Club, specialty club, or a branch specialty club, make sure to select specialty club and then put the name type of what it is that's going in there. It's a Champions Lions Club, it's an environmental club, it's a nurses club, it's an emergency response club, whatever it is. Because as Tracy will tell you, she gets calls all the time with people wanting to connect with other specialty clubs in those same areas. So by putting that on the application, it will allow this new club to be able to reach out and connect potentially with other clubs that are doing similar things to learn from each other and support one another. Another piece to be aware of is if we are successful and start 10 new clubs in a district in one Lions year, there are special rules and you do need to submit some additional documentation to make sure that they're actual Lions clubs. If you get to that point, first of all, we're having a big party. And second of all, please invite me because I haven't seen this happen before. So I'm not sure how this process works and I'm very curious to see what that looks like. So if we get that, that is in a single district, not the whole multiple. It's by district. So if you get more than 10 clubs, official Lions clubs starting in 1 year, there is additional documentation that needs to be submitted to Lions Clubs International. The last piece on this slide is actually a training video. When LCI put the new member portal out there, they created a YouTube channel with the portal, with training, with different training works or videos in it. I'm going to drop this into the chat. This is the how to charter a club, put a charter application process description from the Lions portal. And it's 10 minutes and 18 seconds long. And if you haven't started a new club inside of the portal, I strongly recommend you take that 10 minutes and 18 seconds to understand what the process looks like so that you're not broadsided and you understand what you're looking at when you get there. It's a well done video, quick and easy, no mess, no fuss. So check that out when you get a chance. Some things to keep in mind. So before you start, as you get ready to submit a club application, a new club application, there's some things that you need to be able to make sure you have in hand. Number one, you have to have 20 members. Charter members, they can be transfer members from another Lions club or brand new Lions. So you have to have 20 charter members to start a full-blown Lions club. A district governor approval is required. And that we'll talk about in a few minutes about how the process works. But the district governor is going to have to sign off on, yes, I agree that this is a Lions club, and yes, and give their approval. You're going to need to have collected the charter fees and any certification that's required. Certification is things like if there's family members and you need to have the certification for a second or third or fourth family member in a household. If there is a student that's joining this club and they are a student member, there's certification required for that. So you need to have the charter fees and whatever certifications are required for these new members. You have to know who the club sponsor is going to be. You can have up to 2 Lions clubs, by the way, sponsor, or 2 entities sponsor this new club. You need at least 1 guiding lion, as we've discussed, but preferably 2. We're going to talk more about guiding lions again in a few minutes. You need to complete the charter application, and you must have an employee identification number from the Internal Revenue Service. So that's where having the correct name is vital, and having a name that's going to be work is vital, because that name is the one that you submit to the IRS in order for them to create this as a 501c4 entity, and for Lions Clubs International then to make it official that they are an official Lions Club. So making sure that name is good before you go to the IRS is vital, because if you've ever worked with the IRS before, once things are in, it's not very easy to change them. So making sure you have all your ducks in a row before you go there is important. If you are looking to start a branch club, or it's going to end up being a branch club, and if you are working on starting a club and it's taking more than 8 weeks to get it chartered or get to 20 members, you really should look at starting them out as a branch club. And again, getting them out there serving and visible in the community so that they can grow. As a branch club, you only need five members. And again, it can be brand new people, brand new to Lions, or transferring in from another, either the parent club or from a another Lions club. The branch club has to elect a branch president, a secretary, and treasurer. You do not need district governor approval, but you need parent club approval. The parent club has to approve, as we talked about in session 1, that they will support this club and it will be part of their subset of their club until such time as they either hit 20 members or both decide it's not working anymore and they need to do something different. You have to complete an application, which is also part of what's in the is also in the portal, and the parent club needs to name a club liaison. The person from the Lions, the parent club, that's going to be back and forth between and keep the two clubs up to date with what each other are doing. Applications and everything are submitted online, along with, if possible, you can pay the fees online, so it goes a little bit faster as well. So that is the new club checklist. Let's talk a moment about fees, dues, and discounts. And keeping in mind that international dues are billed semi-annually and they're prorated. What does that mean? That means LCI bills each district twice a year. And if you join midway through the cycle, your dues will be prorated based on the date you joined. So that billing statement, those dues statements, will be part of the initial money that's due to Lions Clubs International when you pay for when you pay the fees as you're chartering the club. Club dues are decided by the club, and they should cover the club's admin fees. They should also cover international, multiple, and district dues. Entrance fees, that is a one-time fee paid by all new members. Now, some districts have a setup where the districts cover all or part of these for new clubs. Some parent clubs cover the entrance fees. Sometimes it's just a fee that is passed on directly to the new members. It just depends on your setup. This last bullet is really important. Dues change. Programs and projects change. So always make sure you have the current dues structure in front of you when you're out working with a new Lions Club. And you're going to find it in a spot that's going to start to sound very familiar if it didn't already, on lionsclubs.org under the Start a New Club Lions page, or Start a New Lions Club page on the LCI website. It is at the top right, there is a button that you click on and it will take you directly to the current due structure for any of the different categories of membership. So you're going to discuss dues in general at the informational meeting, but they're going to discuss it more detail of it during those organizational meetings where you're going to talk more about how the club wants to handle, what their name is, and how the club wants to be set up. All of this is also available on that Start a New Club webpage from Lions Clubs International, the charter application checklist. There's a whole bunch of resources there for chartering the new club that you should take a look at on the Start a New Club webpage. And this charter application checklist is actually item number TK40, and it's got a really great list of everything you need to worry about and all the pieces you need in place before you start a club. Let's talk quickly about the charter approval process. So the new charter and new club can take up to 45 days. Generally speaking, it does not take that long, but it can take up to 45 days. There's 5 steps in the application process that you will work through with an LCI coordinator. The length of time it takes to actually charter the club depends greatly on the response time from the submitters. That means whoever put the application in and the district governor. Because as the first step is, I put in all the information about the new club, and then when the LCI staff people get done reviewing it and say it's good to go, they send a note and an email to the district governor and ask for the approval. If the district governor doesn't sign off on that quickly, it holds up the process. So as you're submitting an application, it's important to keep the district governor and the rest of the team in the loop as to what's going on, and be ready then and to follow up saying, hey, they just sent us the application. Can you, or the next step in the process, can you sign off on this? Be ready to follow up. A key piece of this for everyone to understand is this. If you aren't starting clubs all the time, there's a lot of ins and outs that you may or may not know, and that's okay, because Lions Clubs International assigns one human on staff to each one of the charter applications and works through that entire application process with you. So they understand the ins and outs. You don't have to keep explaining idiosyncrasies of what's going on or anything. You are working directly with one person who's going to support you through the whole process, which makes it a lot easier from the chartering entity standpoint on us to get the club started. And the staff is very good at helping you get the job done as quickly as possible. So any questions that you ask, they're fantastic support mechanism for us throughout this entire process. They are not assigned though until the initial application goes in, just so you're aware. Once the charter is approved, all the charter materials are sent to the district governor. That includes the actual physical charter. That also includes the membership certificates and other materials and pins and all the other things that are going to, that are sent as part of the charter box, we'll call it. The district governor can choose to hold on to that the whole time, but you should be working as whoever's now we're talking about the guiding lions, most likely. The guiding lions and the governor should be working together to make sure that if the club needs some of those materials sooner than charter night, that you have a system in place or can get them whatever they need from those charter materials. The charter night celebration should be started to plan. That should be one of the first things that the club works on. And it's really their night. And they're going to work on planning that with the support of the guiding lions and the sponsoring Lions Club. And again, the guiding lions and the sponsoring club are not there to tell them how to do it. They're there to help support them as they work through the process, connect them beyond, make sure that everyone in the state and the multiple is involved, invited, make sure all the clubs in the district are aware of what's going on and invited, et cetera, et cetera. I often get questions about who pays for charter night. And the reality is, I haven't run across a district yet that has a separate budget line item to help pay for charter nights. Sometimes the parent club steps up and helps pay for some of the things. Most likely what happens is they build in the cost of charter night into the fees for whatever the cost is to come to charter night for the meal, etc. So whatever it is, it does need to be talked about in advance and figured out, because by this point, the club should be then once they have the charter approved, they can get a checking account. But there may be, again, some interim time where you need to work together between the parent club or the sponsoring club or the district as to how you're going to get things set up and get bills paid. Charter members are special members. They are the first members of this club. And all members that join within 90 days of the charter date are considered charter members. A caveat, and it's under the tip down below. The charter date and the charter night are not the same date. I don't think I've ever seen them be on the same date. The charter date is the date that Lions Clubs International officially says you are a Lions Club. You put in all the paperwork, everything's been filled out, and you are now an official Lions Club, official 501c4 charity in the United States. So that is the charter date. The charter night is the party. So those two items are very different dates. Keep that in mind, because those charter members that are based off of 90 days after the date of the charter. So the charter date triggers that. If the charter night occurs longer than 90 days after the charter, any members that join during the charter night are considered regular members. Anyone past 90 days is a regular member of the Lions Club and will not be considered a charter member. LCI has done a great, another great resource that they put out there is a charter night planning guide. If you have not looked at this, it is a fantastic resource. And the main reason that the guiding lions and the parent club representative don't have to tell them what to do is LCI has laid this out. It gives timelines, it gives ideas of what you might want to do, and it allows a new club to take ownership of their own charter night. So this is available on lionsclubs.org on the Start a New Club webpage, and you can download the PDF. Again, well done, something to share with the new members and be ready to go with. All right, we're gonna take some questions and then I've got a couple other things here before we go into some other things.
We have many questions.
Okay,
Would you like to read them or shall I go down them?
how about if you have them, Richard, how about you help me out?
Okay, there were several questions on officers in a branch and so forth, and the issue is a branch is not a chartered club, and therefore it does not have a charter. It is not a club, it's part of the parent club. And the parent club has to put together a liaison between the two, and the branch must have a president, a secretary, and a treasurer. Also, it's been recommended, and it is a great idea, to make one of the branch secretary or treasurer an admin so that they can actually go into the parent club and add and drop lines. That's only if the parent club likes that idea. If there's a lot of questions, if there's questions on branches, there's a video that I've put up on our page that you can look at. If you still have questions, you can contact me. And there's also a number of people who've responded to the questions here in this area who obviously have all the details as well. So a lot of questions, a lot of answers. Let's see. Branch members are full members of the parent club, but they are also part of the branch. And I think the question that wasn't asked was if a branch is built up within a club and they subsequently charter, then the parent club loses that membership and may not be, and their membership drops. And when it drops, in order to get the Club Excellence Award, you have to then be involved in chartering the club. So sponsoring the club as well allows you to keep your excellence, but your membership will drop. But look at the great thing you're doing by creating a new club. I think that was most of the questions. There was one here for Tracy as well that she answered online that I have lost right now.
Well, if the membership, your membership drops, that is correct. And Richard, all of that is correct. But you've started a new club that they were subset members of your club. So they were operating separately already. They're just now able to be an entity on their own, full-blown entity on their own.
But a club branch does have a charter date. It's not the same charter date as the regular club. So like if you go into the portal and you look at a club branch in your area, you're going to see it has a charter date. It's not the same charter date as the host club, because when you enter a club branch into the system, you put in the president, you put in all that. They has to be approved by the district governor still. There's still some stuff in
But
there
it
that
is not, but I think Tracy could answer this. It does not receive a formal 501c4 charter from IRS, from LCI.
it does not have to have its own form. It does not have to have its own EIN number.
Correct. They are part of the parent club, so they live under the EIN number of the parent club.
And the
But
charter
they
of the parent.
can,
Yes.
they can have their own EIN number if they would like. So
So
We
let's not-
did with our branch. as well.
So as not to confuse everyone, because these are in detail, digging pretty deep. So there's flexibility with a branch club. They're a subset of the parent club. And when they do spin off, the parent club's membership does drop, but as long as there's a charter or they sponsor the new club, i.e. the branch club as it becomes a full-blown club, it's not as, you can still earn the Club Excellence Award. Jeff Jordan is asking again about when no one steps up. Jeff, I'm telling you, I've in all the clubs I've seen chartered, brand new clubs, I haven't seen this problem. So it's harder for me to, especially because you're talking to these people and they're fired up about a new club and they want to get out there, they want to be active and get involved. So if you run across that problem, I think a big part of it is having the conversations with these people as you're talking to them. What is their interest? You know, what needs do they see that need to be met? And how would they like to serve in this club? How would they like to be involved? Where are their interests? And be able to work through there. All right. Let's take a look at and talk about the key to the success or failure of this club down the long term is guiding lions. And we've talked about this a number of times, and I can't say this enough. And I want you to start thinking about these certified guiding lions and these guiding lions and how the district can support them. So let's talk about just refreshing what it is that the guiding lions do. They support the club through its first 2 years. And you need to have at least one of the guiding lions at every meeting and event of this new club. As a person who served as a guiding lion to a number of clubs, I will tell you that I don't think I ever have gone to a meeting that I can recall of these new clubs that they didn't have some question that they needed an answer to. And by having the guiding lion there, they get the answer as quickly as possible, and then they're able to move forward and understand and some description of what's going on. It's also the guiding lion's responsibility to connect these new lions and this new club to the organization beyond the club. So that means ongoing orientation about everything that comes up. You know, what is this zone meeting thing that they're asking me to come to? I don't understand. Why do I need to go? What is it? All of those things. What is this? These acronyms? You know, we've got so many letters, alphabet soup we use for so many things in Lions. Being able to explain those things to the new members and answer their questions about them is vital. The guiding lions will also keep the the new members and this new club informed about upcoming events and trainings that may or may not being promoted as, or they didn't necessarily see, but you know, the guiding lion is aware that the zone meeting is coming up. They know that the convention is going to be and where it's going to be and all of that. So they are there to support the club through the first 2 years, connect them to the organization beyond the club, and then protect them. What does that mean? Protecting them from what oftentimes are very well-meaning humans that happen to have a past district governor or past something in front of their name that think that they'll come in, they'll want to visit this club and they'll want to share all their words of wisdom or whatever they're there to talk about. But when they get there, they realize that the club's not doing a prayer because this club doesn't want to do a prayer. They're reading the mission statement for Lions Clubs International instead. And this well-meaning visitor to the club could stand up and say, wait a minute, this isn't okay. You can't do that. You have to do a prayer. You know, they can start causing some challenges, again, not really understanding what they're doing. So it's up to the guiding lions to protect this club and to protect them from these well-meaning lions. Now, that doesn't mean don't invite them to the meeting. That means that the guiding lion says, hey, the new club would like to learn more about our foundation. And so in order to do that, you get hold of one of the foundation directors and you say, here's how this club operates. Here's what they're looking for. Can you do this? You prepare the presenter and you prepare the club for whatever it is that they're going to present. So it's really a communication thing more than anything. And that's part of the protection. So as we look at guiding lions, we know, again, from history, a strong guiding lion means a strong club. How do your district support your guiding lions? Do you support your guiding lions? And I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and we're going to drop some ideas in the chat, hopefully quite a few ideas in the chat about how your district might support these guiding lions. And I will throw out there right off the bat, do you have one person or one of your GAT team members that's responsible for supporting the guiding lions? Is this to make sure that they've got a mentor that's able to answer their questions, to connect them, to keep them in the loop? If not, perhaps that would be a good idea to see if one of your GAT team members or someone else would like to take that role on. I'm trying to read as we go along here. A guiding line support person on a leadership team, yes. Have district governor introduce them at conferences, yes. Have the district governor and the exec team supporting these new lions. When something happens, if something happens and there's a bit of controversy about not being allowed to whatever, make sure your the district governor team and the exec team are there to support these guiding lions and back them up. Have CGL on the signature of emails of guiding lions. I like that. Introducing conferences. I'm trying to read Mike's. If a certified guiding lion is a transfer charter member of the new club, can he or she be designated as the guiding lion for the club? Example, looks like Mike's going to transfer from his current club to be a charter member of the new club. And yes, Mike, Tracy, you can confirm if I'm wrong or not, but I believe Mike is still eligible to be the guiding lion of that club, even if he's transferring in.
Yes, he is.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other ideas how your district can support those guiding lions? Perhaps a quarterly meeting? Maybe you have a meeting on the front end of your cabinet meeting with the guiding lions there. That allows them to kind of just work together. Maybe create a group on Facebook for them to be able to share ideas and do some idea sharing. A name badge, you know, Richard, I don't know that there's an official guiding lion name badge. I know we've got pins. Pat, Tracy, either of you?
Not that I know of, actually. Yeah, I've not seen any name badges for guiding lions. I would say what I would definitely invite your guiding lions to some of your meetings about what you are planning for the year so that they pre-know that they're going to be needed for a certain, for clubs, and prepare themselves, if you're going to be trying to charter clubs in Q3, that they have time and are available during Q3.
Great point. Sandy put them part of your leadership team. What if you treated them like you do your zone chairs? So any information that goes out to the zone chairs also goes out to the certified guiding lions. Protocol. Not my strongest point is protocol. I know you're all shocked by that, but yes, there is protocol that allows you to throw them into the mix. So, yep. Cool. Just don't leave them out there in the cold. Don't just leave them out there on their own. Have someone be there to follow up with them, to answer their questions, support them, see how things are going.
Don't assign them without talking to them first.
Right. And
Have had issues with that recently.
We talked about, when we first talked about guiding lions at the beginning of this, in our first session, the importance of matching the right human, the right guiding lion to the club and the personality of the club in order to make sure that they can best serve the needs of this club and make this club as comfortable, the new members as comfortable as possible. And I'm going to use the example of, I'm working on starting an LGBTQ plus club right now. And that, to find the right guiding lions for that club, you want to make sure they're all on board, on the same page with everything. So it's a very good idea to make sure that you've got the right guiding lions assigned to the right club to make sure that they can all be successful. Guiding lions are formal positions, but I just don't know that, because if you're in a district that hasn't started a club for a long time, you haven't had a guiding lion or a need for a guiding lion for a very long time. So it may be a good idea to do some, maybe for the next round of zone meetings, you as a district, you put out some information about what guiding lions are and why they're in place and what they're going to be doing and how they're going to support new clubs and new club growth. And maybe that's where it all starts, is in the education process and communicating what's going on. Great. All right, let's move on to a couple other things, some key takeaways I wanted to make sure that you all saw before we go into the videos. And these are key takeaways from the whole series, that just to kind of put in for you to take with you. Number one, understanding community needs or assets passions is the first step to a successful club formation. If you are focused on a needs-based club, going out and doing that community needs assessment, understanding what's going on in the community, where those needs are, allows you to have an educated conversation and build trust with those potential new lions and the community. If you're building an asset-based club, understanding the assets, first of all, identifying the assets and then understanding their passions allows you to be successful in starting this new club. I just said this a few moments ago, excellent guiding lions equal excellent clubs. They truly are the make or break of a Lions club, is who is in charge and who the guiding lions are. If you find that the guiding lion that you assigned that you thought was going to do what you needed to be done isn't able to fulfill the responsibilities the way you need, you can change guiding lions out. You do need to fill out some additional paperwork. Those are official positions named in the portal for this club. The third bullet here is really important, especially for our growth team members to keep in mind. We are the first people going into the community. how we represent Lions and how we represent ourselves is the first step that this community is going to know about potentially a Lions Club. So these relationships that we're starting to build and are going to hand off to the new club with community officials, business owners, other assets, it's going to support the club and aid in the club promotion long term. But it's also going to be us that's starting it, us that lead that first level of it to be able to build the foundation off of. So as you and your team are out recruiting, keep that in mind. You are opening the door to the idea of a Lions Club, and you aren't going to be there in the long term with them necessarily, but you're going to hand these relationships off, but you start the relationships. So it's our responsibility for the growth team to represent appropriately and then be ready to hand off those relationships so that they can be maintained by the new club and the members of the new club. A well-planned forum or any of those informational and organizational meetings leave a lasting impression on the new members. You're building the basis of their understanding about what Lions is all about, and you're giving them ownership of their own club. So those working through that forum, working through the key members meeting, the informational organizational meetings, those pieces, don't gloss over them. Take the time you need to make sure that they're getting the information they need and that they're comfortable with what you're doing and what they're doing so they can move forward. And a reminder again that we've got staff, amazing staff that's available to provide support during the entire process. And when I say the entire process, I mean the entire process. Tracy answers the membership at lionsclubs.org email. She will answer questions in advance of you getting your application in. If you've got questions like Mike asked about Guiding Lion, if there's other questions that come up that we haven't been able to answer here, reach out and get the answers so you don't struggle. Tracy's there for you with that. And then as soon as that application gets sent in, then you will be assigned a different staff member that'll follow you through that whole process and take over that question and answer for you. So a great resource for us again. The last piece here that is really the most important is to share your passion for service and have fun building new clubs. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they're talking about the difference between if you are an excited, passionate person, passionate about what you're trying to sell and talk about, the difference in close rate is huge. So the number of things you sell, in this case, the number of people you sell as get to sign up to be Lions, it changes things by like 6 times or more of what it is if you aren't passionate about it. So being passionate, having the people out talking, just like PDG Lynn said when we had the video from him in the first session, being passionate and talking about Lions and making people fired up about realizing their potential and what they can do in their communities is a huge gift that we give when we go out. So making sure you're fired up and excited about what's going on in the clubs or the potential in this community is a huge part of being able to sell a Lions Club and start a Lions Club up. Richard, before we go into the videos, do we have more questions that we
There's
need
a
to
good
cover?
comment by PDG Jeff. Boy, he's just full of good stuff, isn't he? He said it's important to have the guiding lion be near the club because they're going to be attending 2 meetings, which brings up the subject of having certified guiding lions around your entire district, ready and waiting for new clubs to be started, and having your zone chairs become certified guiding lions, and then you've got these people already in place. And that's an easy thing to do as we're having the online training, and you can do the training on your own, and we're having localized training by districts. So this is something that people should be encouraged to take.
Additionally, all good points. Additionally, certified guiding lions. And so part of the program is also about a rebuilding certified guiding lion. If you've got a club that's, why would I, if I'm not, involved in the district, necessarily want to be a certified guiding lion? Well, here's the deal. The materials and what you learn in certified guiding lion are applicable to working with your existing club as well. So it allows you to understand what is out there, what's available, and it gets you up to date on all the latest technology, all the latest information from Lions Clubs International on how to have a successful club. So it's an important piece for clubs as well. And I know Pennsylvania, you guys just had 2, or you're finishing up a second CGL training that were really well attended. So hopefully you all have plenty of certified guiding lions Don't forget them. Communicate with them. Because if they signed up now and they got the CGL training, they're now certified guiding lions, hallelujah. But if they don't hear from you for 6 months or a year, they're going to think, well, where was all, what's going on? So again, keeping them in the loop, communication with them all the way along, keeping them up to date with what's going on in the district, even if they're not assigned, is an important part of of mentoring them, keeping them on board, and keeping them moving forward as well.
They're wonderful candidates for your membership team as well.
Yeah, great point. All right. That is the official curriculum pieces, but we didn't want to leave you without giving you some really great inspiration from some Lions who've been there, done that, and done a fabulous job. And we're going to start with Jerome Thompson. Some of you know Jerome or may know Jerome Thompson. He is out of Alabama, and he's going to share some information with us about how they use social media to jumpstart their Lions, a brand new Lions Club. And there'll be some key takeaways in a moment here. So just a second. Let's make sure we got the. All right, here we go.
Hello, I'm Jerome Thompson, and I've been asked to share with you some of the things that we have been doing in our district. One of the most effective things that we have done is we have went in and opened a Facebook group as if a club already existed. And so we have the Shoals Area Lions Club long before we ever have a club. On Facebook, then we begin to go to Lions Clubs International's YouTube channel and move some of the more effective recruiting type videos and posting them. The other thing we do is the club to be begins to like all the businesses in the area so that our message is being put out and shared with other people and other companies. That way, when we hit the ground running and we're knocking on doors, we are beginning then to see that folks are having a warm call instead of a cold call. They already know a little bit about Lions. They already know about what we're doing and what our mission is. What we also find is that a lot of people have been asking themselves, how can I join this club? And then it makes it easier for us to begin to recruit members. Then as we begin to recruit members, we get their permission and we put on the website or on the Facebook site, welcome Mayor John Smith to the Shoals Area Lions Club. Welcome librarian Debbie Smith to the Shoals Area Lions Club. And that way, everyone in the community is beginning to see that we are bringing in members. They want to be part of a successful group. And as we're talking with members and signing them up, we're asking them what is their passion, what would the Lions Club do for a service project? And then we can go back to Facebook and ask questions. Who would be interested in helping us in the Shoals area form a service project to serve at-risk students? Who is engaged in helping some of our students who are involved in the court system to develop the skills that they need? Who would be interested in vision screening and assisting us in screening the vision of all 6th, 8th, and 10th graders in our school system? And those questions are beginning to promote what we're doing and give service ideas. People are then responding and saying, I would volunteer to do that. And then because of their passion, we're able to go to them and ask them to join the Lions Club. As we begin to plan our informational meetings, we're creating events on Facebook, and we're pushing those out to everyone within 15, 20-mile radius of the place that we're going to meet. And yes, it costs a little bit to do a Facebook ad, but I can tell you in one community, we spent about $50 on a Facebook ad. We had 8 people who had marked interested and will be there. 6 of them showed up, 6 of them joined on that information night. It's money well spent as we begin to form clubs. And so I'd encourage you to think about social media, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, to promote the new club and to act as if it's already up and running, to warm up the crowd by sharing with them some of the great things that we're doing, and then to engage members by asking about different passions and helping them to understand why that they should join the world's largest service organization, Lions Clubs International, the only organization that can provide hope to the hopeless and improve the quality of life for everyone in our communities. Thank you very much for asking, and I look forward to helping you to form your club as we create and form 400 clubs in the United States before June 30th, 2025. Have a good evening.
I love that story of Jerome's, because a couple things. Number one, it brings back around the importance of your growth team member that's focused on marketing. Whomever is taking on that role is really putting out there, they're informing and educating through some of the posts they're putting out there. They're connecting with the community electronically by liking other businesses, getting businesses and organizations to like the club page, getting humans to like the club page. So it's an educational opportunity and information building opportunity, but it's also a recruiting opportunity, right? So what Jerome talked about was this. As they get someone new to join, they say, welcome to the page and welcome to this Lion so-and-so from whatever business they're coming in from or whatever it is. You tag that person, meaning you put the @ sign in their name so that that information goes out to all of their friends and in their network on that same social media channel. You then tag other businesses tag the business if they're part of a business that they're coming in under. All of those things, it helps spread the word further than you can on your own. And at the bottom of each one of those posts, you put a call to action. Our next meeting is this. Come learn more about how you can make a difference. Or whatever call to action, or we've got a service project. Come help us clean the park or whatever it might be. Have that available information at the bottom of each post to get people to join in the fun. Additionally, those interactive questions that they ask. So let's say I said, I'm interested in helping kids and vision screening. So I'm one of the new members, and all of a sudden our marketing person's putting it on the webpage saying, hey, our Lions Club is going to screen kids' vision in the community. Would you like to help? Getting information that you can pull people along and go from there. Fantastic. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is Jerome is probably the one and only, our expert in the United States on what's Quest Lions Club. So Quest is a program, a evidence-based program that Lions Clubs International owns, the Lions Quest program, that allows us to help at-risk kids starting as early as pre-K up through 12th grade. It is a curriculum-based program that does wonders. Jerome knows more about it, I think, than any other human that we've got around. So if you're interested in learning more about how to start a Quest program up for at-risk kids to help make a difference in your communities that way, please reach out to Jerome because he can definitely help you out with that. All right. Jerome talked about how we can take some of the tools that we talked about and use social media to jumpstart clubs. The next example I'm going to share with you is actually out of Nevada or Utah, excuse me. We shared with you the Jesse Robinson award-winning district this year was 21 North out of Arizona. Well, last year's Jesse Robinson award-winning district was actually out of Utah. And you're going to meet Mike and Carol Eisenberg here. Carol was the district governor at the time, and Mike was her GMT. And they're going to talk a little bit about how they jump-started a club or started a new club and how you can use this method to start a new club or jumpstart an existing club. I want you to pay close attention to what they did. This is their version of an informational meeting, and check out the results. We'll talk about it more when you come back. So here we go with Mike and Carol.
Hello, Lions. I'm Lion Carol.
And I'm Lion Mike Eisenberg, and we're from Multiple District 28 in Utah.
And we are here to share our story on how to rebuild a club, but the process can also be used for starting a brand new club, especially in rural areas.
So let's talk about membership opportunities in the strangest places, shall we? We'll start with the what. One day I received a phone call out of the blue from a club who I thought disbanded years ago because we never saw them at district conventions. They explained that they were used to be a large club and were down to 4 legacy members and they were dying on the vine. They said, back in the day, we used to have a lot of fun and we were a big club, but now we're getting too old to continue service. This was their SOS call to the district for help.
So the who, we had to circle the wagons and we built a basic team. We knew it had to include myself, the district governor, and the global membership team because he just happened to be my chauffeur. We asked our council chair if he would join us because he had a lot of knowledge on secretary and treasurer side of things. We thought we had to also include his spouse, who happened to be our global service leader. We were very excited then. We put a very quick small plan together and said, woohoo, we're going on a road trip to Daggett County.
So the question you should be asking yourselves is, where the heck is Daggett County? Nobody knew because we had never visited this club before. So we found out through the help of Google Maps, it was in a very rural community, very close-knit. They all grew up with each other, and we were considered even outsiders because although we're Lions, we didn't grow up there. And it's located on the Utah and Wyoming border. We were quickly met by a legacy member who gave us an extensive tour, which lasted 3 minutes of the town, and he showed us where all their service projects were performed. So he said, shall we meet? And I looked around and I didn't see anybody. And he said, I have them all assembled in one location. Well, that turned out to be the only bar in town. Although that sounds pretty normal to some of you on this call, it was a little unconventional to say for those of us in Utah.
So the how. We put together a very small basic presentation on explaining on who Lions are. We focused on service. We explained what the major core areas of service are for Lions, but we explained it really does boil down to what is the need in your local community. We each took a few minutes to share our aha moments or what it was that made us join Lions. We ended the presentation on asking everybody, what is it you would like to do to serve your community?
Okay, drum roll, please. Now for the result. We didn't even know what was going to happen. Well, after our presentation, we got a lot of head nods from this young crowd, and luckily we brought membership applications. Once people saw their friends getting in line, they got in line, and so we immediately started filling out applications. The great result was that night we sworn in 13 members, diverse, young, and ready to serve. And lucky for us, the following morning, the word got around in this small community and 2 more members signed up the day we were leaving.
So we just used the GMA process. We built a team. We had a very unassuming vision. We built a basic plan, and we were successful in this small, remote, rural community.
We wish you the best in your endeavors in starting or rebuilding a club, and we know you can do it.
Bye,
Bye, Lions.
So much fun that they were able to use such a simple global membership approach to really jumpstart this club. When you think about what they did, they basically ran an informational meeting, right? They gave an overview of what Lions is about. They then talked a little bit about what their aha moments were, which I think is brilliant. To share why you're a Lion and when you turned a Lion, to share those personal stories really helps cement that in the new members' minds or the potential members' minds. And they then turned around and ended up with 13 new members that night, plus 2 more before they left town. This works, like they said, for both an existing club or for a brand new club. And it kind of plays off of what past district governor Lynn Graybow from the Dakotas shared with us, in that using the center of influence and referral based approach. It's a very similar concept. They only needed the one meeting to get this club jump started and going again. You'll also note they had a couple of things also interesting. 4 people, 4 Lions from outside the area came to share the story. So it wasn't overwhelming to the number of other people were there. The other thing that I'll point out is checks seem to work in that community because everyone had checks. But again, we cannot assume that is the case everywhere. So being prepared with whatever you need to be sure to be able to collect the dues as soon as possible is an important step. And whether that be electronic payments through Venmo, PayPal, etc., whatever it is important for you to take a look at. So we've now looked at how some of the resources could be used from the marketing standpoint. We've learned how Mike and Carol Eisenberg and their team went out to a small town and jump-started this community club, and with a huge impact. Let's take a look again, and let's go back to one of our top recruiters in the United States, and that's Winston Ceballos. He is a GAT leader and a New Jersey Lion out of multiple District 16. And Winston was a Leo and a Leo Lion and a Lion. He's been around for a long time. He's recruited a lot of members, and he does a really great job of summing up all we talked about when it comes to member recruitment. So let's take a look at what Winston has to say on recruitment.
Hello, Lions. This is Lion Winston Ceballos from New Jersey. I'm here just to give you a couple of tips on how to recruit new members. Tips that have worked for me, so hopefully it works for you. And remember, we always know that recruiting for new members in a community service organization or a nonprofit organization can be challenging, but also it is highly rewarding when it's done right. And we know that we can do it together. First thing is word of mouth. You have to encourage your current members to invite friends, family, and co-workers to join our organization. Also, do personal invitations. A personal invite from a passionate member can mean so much and be more effective than general advertisement. Another thing that have worked for me is provide service projects for your community. Encourage people to just participate in your service project. Don't reach out not to be a new member, but to help out in a community event. And that sometimes is a big, big marketing opportunity for us. And they will see what we do, and definitely they will want to join our organization. Provide also some skill-based volunteering. If you provide a specific skills-based opportunity for volunteers to get involved, for example, you have somebody that know how to make a web design, tell them they can provide support or consulting for your club, marketing, event management, anybody that have a specific skill that you can probably use as a leverage, just tell them you want help, that you need assistance in your nonprofit, and they will be able to help you. Partner with other organizations within the community. We always talk about that we are a community-based organization, but you can partner with other service organizations in your community. For example, right now, my own club, we're going to be partnering with the Boy Scouts in order to create a partnership to support them and support us also. Impact focused benefits is very important. Show your prospective members the tangible benefits of the contribution, how they can get involved, how they can give back to their community. And definitely networking and leadership development is huge for people, especially now the millennials. Highlight how membership can help them build their leadership skills, meet people that think like them, like-minded individuals like them, and also grow their personal network. Finally, something that I always tell everybody, just ask and keep asking. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is a no. But how will you get that answer if you don't ask? If we don't ask, we don't know if the person will be willing to or they will not. So just ask and keep asking and ask again. I think that if we focus on these few tips, we will be successful. Remember, we are here to serve. One more person, be 2 more hands to serve. Thank you, and hopefully they will help you out. Have a great day.
Winster really summed up a lot of what we've been talking about throughout this whole series. You know, service projects, starting with a service project, and don't invite them to a meeting, invite them to come to a service project and get hooked on service and understand the impact that you can have as a Lion. Targeted invites, you know, we saw it in the video that with Daniel Marnie Elkins, when they invited the videographer to join their club. Windsor talked about it as far as web pages go. You can look at it from an accounting standpoint. Targeted invites to professionals in the community that will help fill a need that the club has is a great way to get started. And to invite and grow your membership in a way that will help benefit the organization, the individual, and the community. And then his partnerships, and he talked about the Boy Scouts in particular. There's partners all over in every community. We aren't the only humans out there trying to do a good job and do good and make a difference and make the world a better place. So partnering together to lift us all up to better reach all of our goals is good for everyone. And then one key piece that he talked about that we have not actually talked about before is networking. So as we look to invite a younger generation, for many years, at least where I come from, we didn't talk about our business. It was not a business club. It was about a service club and service club only. Depending on your club or the new club, some clubs are actually business networking clubs we've seen start up. Some clubs just allow their members to share information about their business and celebrate without being fined by the tail twister or whatever is your current way you do business. It's something for all our clubs to consider as we look to invite new people in a new generation as to whether any of those traditions that we have are ones that are still relevant to all the members, including the potential members or not, and determine how we want to move forward with it. So great tips from Winster, and especially ask, and keep asking. The reality is you may hit me on a day when I'm swamped and busy and there's no way. Right now I got 6 months worth of things that I know I cannot do anything more. But if Winter calls me back in 6 months and says, hey, come join us at this project, and I've got the capability and the capacity, and I join that project, it changes everything. So keep asking, keep asking, keep asking. Ask them to support your club. Ask them to, if nothing else, check out your follow your Facebook page or whatever your social media channel is, whatever it might be. But keep connected with these individuals and keep following up. I want to share with you and remind you of a couple of resources that are really going to be important as we keep moving forward here. First off, I'm going to share with you the US Lions Rock YouTube channel. And this YouTube channel is one we've been using all along. And this is the where all of the videos that we've talked about and we've shared with you are stored, and you can access at all times, along with additional pieces that we have not shared with you. And this is growing, like I said, all the time, including Chris Wooters out of the Washington, D.C. area came up with and did a couple of videos for us on growing Lionism in urban areas. And it really comes down to making a large urban area into a smaller community-based club in a smaller portion than the large city. Richard put out a Dispelling Branch Myths video for us. There's other videos here, including there's the Jerome video, the Lynn video, Daniel videos, etc., that we've seen throughout this entire session. So you can find these resources on the YouTube channel for US Lions Rock. And I'm sorry, apparently I'm logged into this channel. So let me switch channels or switch accounts to just myself here. And the reason I wanted to do that for you is because I want to remind you also that how easy it is to subscribe. I just unsubscribed. I'm now going to resubscribe by clicking on the black button with the white words that says subscribe. By subscribing, it's free, number one. And number two, every time we put out a new video, you will be able to you'll get a notification that says there's a new video on the US Lions Rock YouTube channel that you can go and check out. So that's an important piece. I also wanted to take you to and remind you yet again about this Start a New Club webpage on lionsclubs.org. This is the page. There is information here that is vital to you to starting the clubs. Everything from what it takes to sponsor a club, the workshop tools, informational night meeting we talked about, the organizational meeting PowerPoints, charter night planning guide, branch submission PowerPoint to walk you through the branch submission process, application files, all of these pieces are here for you. Tracy keeps adding things here all the time as we learn more about what your needs are. So if you haven't already bookmarked this, and as a place that you're going to go often, you should be doing that so that you can find the resources you need. Additionally, we have shared with you the Lions Market to Grow and Lions Map to Grow to help you build and get the information you need and the data you need as quickly as possible and get you out talking to people sooner than later. I want to share something under Lions Map to Grow that's been added. We continue to change these apps and grow these apps based on input and feedback from all of you. So you'll note, and you may note, that these prompts, these 4 boxes, change every now and again. This now reads, the Lions Map to Grow guides Lions members in growing clubs by providing asset mapping, outreach, marketing, SWOT, GMA, and other tools for club growth. If you're working with existing clubs that you're trying to rejuvenate, and you type GMA, and I'm going to type Hillsboro, Wisconsin, it will walk through and pull together the GMA process for this local Lions Club. It does the analysis with asset mapping and community engagement. It goes in and it does a SWOT for you, and it's going slower than I'd like because my computer is apparently talks about recruitment and club formation, promoting the club, etc. A great tool and resource for you to be able to go through and get information to work with your existing clubs. It then goes on to prompt you with more questions. The other thing I wanted to show you is an upgrade to the Market to Grow app. And it basically starts out with, can you help me create a marketing plan for my Lions? And then you type in whatever your project is. Whether it's, if it's a marketing plan for our upcoming Thanksgiving community dinner. I'd like to promote our Lions Club's latest service. This is where you can copy your portal service report directly into chat from the portal, the Lions portal, and put it over here in ChatGPT, and it will give you a press release and social media posts for that service project. I will also let you know that I just saw this today, that the Lion portal now allows you to copy a service report by just clicking on a button that says copy. So you don't even have to worry about how you're copying it. You can just go to the service report in the portal, hit copy, and it'll bring the copy out, and you can drop it right into the Market to Grow. It goes through how you can get more community engagement, and then it also helps you create a content calendar for whatever it might be. It tells you what to post, when to post, how to post, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a very, very nice way to be able to pull everything together in one spot. So with that, I think that the Lions portal, as I mentioned earlier, I think we dropped this in the chat, but just in case we didn't, oopsie, Control Z, wrong button, Control Copy. Let me put this here for you for the Lions portal. The first thing here is club management, new club application, and you can go ahead and view that as we talked about earlier. So with that, did I have any questions, team, that we need to take a look at, or are we ready for the wrap-up comments? Richard, good point. You need to add your own internal SWOT details to complete the club GMA, but this gives the external factors that you can take into the club when you start working with the club. So that's a really great point, Richard.
You cannot underestimate the value of this when you start doing work. And then once you do something, you can go back and ask it to change it and to add things and drop things and reformat it. It is the most wonderful, fun tool you can imagine.
Personally, I spend a lot of time there myself, and I keep finding new ways to use it to save myself time.
Letters to the editor of your local newspaper. I did one yesterday.
Perfect. I am writing an article on the new ChatGPT apps, so it's going to be available for you guys to use in your newsletters and your multiple district publications, etc. It'll be available yet this week, so look for that coming out soon. We've been inspired from Lions from across the U.S. throughout this workshop. People are doing the work and successful. If you have a success story in recruiting or in starting a club or rejuvenating a club, please email me at lionjody@gmail.com. That's lionjody@gmail.com. And Richard, if you could drop that in the chat for me, that would be awesome. I'll reach out to you and we'll set up a time for us to record and we'll go from there. So if you've got those information, please share that, and please share your success, because it's vital that we share these success stories so we aren't always reinventing the wheel. I'm going to wrap it up with this, and I'm going to take us right back to where we started with this whole workshop. And that is with the premise that Lion's #1 service is to spread Lionism. And that, again, it means growing our current Lions clubs so that they can meet the needs of their communities. That means adding new members to existing clubs. That means adding clubs to communities without a Lions club. And that means adding new clubs to communities that are underserved by their current club. Lions is one of the best things out there. And when we have more members, we can do more service and we can make an even bigger impact. That's what it's all about. If Winter brought up, if he brings in another person, that they have 2 more hands for service, but they have another head for more ideas. So every time I bring in a new member, I'm doubling the impact I have as a Lion. And every time I work to start a new Lions club, I'm changing the lives of those Lions, those new Lions, and that community forever. So the work we are doing to get fired up and grow Lions is vital to our communities and meeting the needs that are out there that are growing so rapidly. You guys have been amazing. We have enjoyed spending the last 3 sessions with you over 6 weeks. It has been just a pleasure and a joy to hang out with you all. And we're excited to keep following what you're doing and keep things going. But here's the deal. Nothing that we did in any of these workshops does it any good if you don't take what you learned and share it and go home and start clubs. Go home and grow clubs. Grow Lionism. You can, on the page here is a couple last things, just a reminder, you can order extension kits from the Start a New Club webpage as well. And we aren't leaving you. We're just not meeting every other week. Reach out for help. You guys are very fortunate. You got Jeff, Linda, and Mike to be your support locally, plus other multiple district people and other leaders across Pennsylvania who know a lot and are there to support you and answer your questions. Myself, Richard, and Tracy are always here for you to help you with whatever you need to get the job done. And then don't forget your GAT area and vice area leaders. They are key to keeping this conversation going. Continue to answer your questions and support you as you work through the process of starting clubs. Linda mentioned at the beginning, things don't always go smooth. Sometimes it's 2 steps forwards and 1 step back. And that's okay because it's a process. Keep working through it, keep trying, keep asking questions, keep looking to talk to new humans and find out what they're passionate about, and then help them realize their passions by serving as Lions. With that, it is just after 9 o'clock your time, and we are done. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for continuing to grow this great association, and we'll see you down the road.